need another drink. What's going on, guys? Whiskey Drums here. And if you clicked on this video, then you probably want to know the answer to this one simple question. Will the Alesis Nitro mesh kit do double bass? And the simple answer, no, it won't. Not stock anyways. There's things that you can do to make it kind of work, to make it seem like you have double bass, but in essence, no. If you buy this kit and you get home and you set it up, this is your kick drum tower, it's not going to work. The trigger pad in here just is not responsive enough. It will not pick up quick hits, quick double strokes, any fast strokes. It's not going to do it. And the other bad thing is the inside of here, where there used to be a pad, here to here, it's only 4.5 inches wide. So if you put a double pedal on there, you're pretty much going to cram it in there. And that's no fun. It's really hard to get it to set up. And whenever you do get it set up and you got it positioned on there and you've got your beaters crammed as close together as possible, it's going to sound like crap. And I'm not talking about trying to play some black death metal, playing 200 BPM blast beats, or anything like that. I'll give you a quick demo of some of the basic double bass stuff that I'm talking about that stock kick tower cannot. So that 75% of the notes on the stock Alesis tower ain't happening. So, as far as that's concerned, if that's the question you're asking yourself, if you're thinking about buying one of these, if you've already got one and you've got it set up and you're thinking to yourself, you want to learn how to play double bass, if you spend the money on a double bass pedal, know that you're going to have to buy another kick tower. That's just the way it is. There's things that you can do if you don't want to spend that money, though. What you can do is assign your hi-hat controller pedal to make that voice match your bass drum sound, to where you can kind of play double bass, but I wouldn't recommend it. One reason, the hi-hat controller, it's just got a little spring in there with maybe 6 or 7 windings. There's very little resistance on it. Your bass drum pedal has a heavy-duty spring that's probably got 50 windings on it. So it's incredibly hard to keep your feet balanced if you're trying to do that. So if you're trying to learn double bass, you definitely don't want it. If you're an experienced player or an intermediate player, but you're familiar with playing double bass, you definitely don't want it because it's going to throw you all off. And it's incredibly hard to play consistent double bass whenever you have 2 different spring settings. Nobody would ever do that on a double pedal or on, an actual dual acoustic bass drum setup where you have 2 bass drums and a single pedal on each. You're definitely not going to want to do this. But what you can do, and what I did, is I modified my original stock tower. Again, I'll show you this up close. See how there's no pad or trigger in there? None at all. So what I originally did is I took all this out. I took the pad out, the trigger pad, which is over here. You can't see it in the camera, but it's actually on top of my ride cymbal now. And I bought a, Aquarian kick zone bass drum trigger, which I think is designed to go on an acoustic bass drum. And I put that in there. And I put my beaters directly onto it. There's no padding. I had foam around here to soften the sound to make it a little quieter, but I was just hitting directly on the pad. And that worked great for a while. But just having that trigger and hitting it on that pad doesn't give you the same realistic response of a bass drum. So what I ended up doing is I bought a Yamaha KP-65. And if you go on Guitar Center's website, there's a Q&A section. Somebody on there says that will not work with an Alesis Nitro kit. And that is baloney, because it works great on mine. You just heard it. I don't have any problems with any of the notes missing. It always registers. It always sounds good. And then I took what I was using, the Kick Zone bass drum trigger pad. I mounted that on the soft little pad for my ride cymbal. Put a piece of foam underneath it so it doesn't detect when I'm playing on the actual ride, like this. And then I've got another sensor sitting up right there. So all in all, I've got, I think it was 30, 40 bucks for the Aquarian trigger, and then 70 bucks for the Yamaha. And now I've got a really good sounding double pedal, or a bass drum trick kicker. I just said that right. I've got a really nice sounding bass drum kick pad that triggers extremely well. And I've got a bell. And I've got an extra crash always on here. So I think that's going to be it. That's all you need to know. But in short, in review, the Alesis Nitro stock out of the box will not do double bass. You need to buy another kick tower. They're not expensive. $70. Yamaha KP-65. Works great. Feels fantastic. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys next time.